I'm going to talk about a really good movie, X-Men 2 United. Of course, thanks to Doug Walker, everyone thinks it's now X2. Even the dumbasses that are gullible on the internet don't even bother looking at the full title of the movie. X2 X-Men United is what Doug Walker called it. He is not entirely wrong or right for calling that, but, you know, usually somebody doesn't put two legal titles over the movie. Here's what mistake he made. He decided to use both titles that are legally, have been used as an abbreviation or as the main title of the movie. X-Men United has been what was legally called the full title when it came out. That and also X2 X-Men United. I mean, is sorry, I'm a little having trouble focusing. Slate lost train of thought. X-Men 2 X-Men United is not actually the full title. It's actually kind of an abbreviation and also the full title. If you just call it that, you're an idiot and need to go back to school. Know how old you are, you need to go back to school because that is... Look, if you don't know what difference between abbreviation or title versus the main title, and just think that the whole one thing's just one big title, then I don't know what to say. You either was poorly educated or you got dropped in the head as an infant. Either one, I pity both of your stupidity. Either or. And that thanks to Doug Walker for confusing the people of saying that the movie is actually called X2 X-Men United. And instantly make that the worst case of a main X-Men title. You know, I'll admit I have done that thing where, like, I made that mistake before, but then I realized, then I do my best to, look, I know, if those two, watch my episodes of reviews, you know that I have, changed the title of something due to a spelling error or putting the abbreviation and the full main title in the same title of the video area for the title of the video of whatever it is I review. I did that because people like Doug Walker confused me and thinking of the same thing. And, I think I fixed that problem with my videos, since I fixed all the titles I meant to fix. Although I'm going to go over the Alien and Predator movies that I made in my old videos of Requiem and first one, also known as AVP. That's the abbreviation, but the full title is Alien vs. Predator. Wait, yeah, so I done that before. I put the all in one title because I thought it was the same title as. Look, I'm don't really plan on doing that for future. So I just will just go with one or the other because they're both right. What's not right is you both put the same thing that the VHS and DVD release did when they first came out. And that's just confusing people, and, it's confusing me. So, Yeah. Enough of that. I'm going to talk about the movie. So, good news is they finally fixed Wolverine in this movie. He does everything else other than getting his ass handed to him. See, in the first one, it was the reverse outcome. In the first one, he did everything. I mean, in the first one, he did nothing except getting his ass handed to him all the time. And this one is the opposite. So, and also they gave Wolverine a character arc to go through and become and they actually developed him a bit in this one. X-Men 2 United is really a Wolverine's origin story. That you flash back and forth to, and for the present, and we see very little details and knowledge, but instead of feeling like Easter eggs, they're more like stuff. They're more like there to tell a story instead of just Easter eggs for the sake of in there. So it's more like Easter eggs to tell a coherent story and revealing Wolverine's past, for you go his mantium claws and the bone structure, and yeah, it's just it's like one of those origin stories that tells you is what Batman 1989 was trying to do, but didn't do it that great of a job. As in, tell the origin story, but keep it on a loose on details. Do the origin story was in the shadows instead, and not very detailed. But however, I think this is actually a much better movie than that Batman movie that I just referenced now. It's because this movie actually did the common sense to focus it on that origin that hero goes for, that they have went through to get to here where he is in present, and by keeping the main focus on Wolverine, like they should do with Batman. If you're going to tell Batman's origin story and work into a love story, you should have just kept it on Batman. So I enjoy that movie, but you know, or you could just focus. You could have just had less reason for Batman to be in the plot as well, is what I'm trying to say. Which there will be less confusion, I think. So, this movie goes about the same route that Batman movie tried to do, but it does it tremendously better. And keeping the focus on the main character that went through that in present time. And that's Wolverine in this case. So, this is a Wolverine movie before before any of the Wolverine movies happened, basically. So, I will say there's one disadvantage that this movie has, is that you don't have Wolverine interacting with the X-Men on the team, or the ones that become X-Men that are taking classes within the School of the Gifted, that Charles is the principal of. Well, wait. I got that wrong. Okay, you see more of him interacting with the students that will become X-Men members in the future, down the line. Wolverine interacting with more of those characters more often and consistently. It feels less awkward. It doesn't feel awkward. It feels natural and funny. So the disadvantage about this one disadvantage, I would have liked to see Wolverine interact with the people that are already teams on the X-Men team more often. Like the first one came closer to doing. But the third one did it best. within the original trilogy. So, yeah, I just think that's the one weak part of this X-Men movie is that Wolverine doesn't really want to be a team player as much as he did in the predecessor film, which I thought that was kind of odd. Okay, I get it. If this was any other Wolverine incarnation, I would get it. Or if this was Wolverine from the comics, I would get it. Or Wolverine from the 90s X-Men show, I would get it because those incarnations are more used to seeing that character side come out of him and want to be a lone wolf and leave the team and not really be a team player. You're used to seeing that Wolverine, but this Wolverine is kind of out of nowhere because we already seen this Wolverine wanting to be a team player and cooperating as a team player in the past X-Men movie. So in a way, he's like less developed in that realm of the absence of the character that we saw in the that was one good scene that Hugh Jackman got in the first one that he was his Wolverine, right? So what I'm trying to say is, in a way, he kind of has done the reverse of developing as a person and took like 10 steps backwards, was not being a team player and trying to do everything himself and being a lone wolf and bearing the team and doing everything by himself and going his own ways, and the movie seems to think that that's what this Wolverine has done in the past of the first X-Men movie, when he has done anything but that. And most he's done the one Wolverine is that he wanted to get a head start on saving Rogue and just stole Cyclops' motorcycle for it. So he could get a head start on talking to Rogue before she leaves, and which leads to one thing after the other, and leads him to saving Rogue and everything. And I think another thing I feel like that was absent from this film, and the third one is kind of not as guilty as this red flag in the sequel, is that Wolverine never really speaks to Rogue at all in this movie. The other X-Men do that, and that's kind of thing. That's so, out of all the characters he befriended in the first one, Rogue was his closest in the first one, where we see the events play out in the first one, at least in the theatrical cut. So it's kind of weird that Rogue and Wolverine are not really talking to each other. It's like, what the heck happened? Or, it's just, they're not even like small talk even, or doing anything except going from point B to point A throughout the plot of the film. And that kind of bothered me. Kind of gives me the impression they don't really know what they want to do with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Almost gives me that impression, but then again, I'm not really sure because there are so many other things, right? Maybe this was just one of those things that had to get cut for the film. Final cut of the film that got released into theaters. Maybe it's one of those things, Oh, and Jean is, blacking out and standing in the distance throughout the film. Staring in the distance throughout the film and spaced out throughout the film, blacking out. And I get what they're doing. They're trying to foreshadow the event of X-Men The Last Stand, where she takes down the identity of Dark Phoenix from the comics And I only know that because I actually read the comics and watched the X-Men cartoons. But if you don't know anything outside the X-Men, Fox's X-Men, you're going to be a little confused. What's going on? Why is she saying different? Why isn't she being useful? Or is you going to say the Dusty yourself? Because it's true. You know, I don't think the first one is a 5 out of 10. I think it's more of a 10 out of 10, and so is this one a 10 out of 10. So yeah, this is my review on both films, because I realized I kind of talked about both films already in this video. X-Men and X-Men 2 United get a 10 out of 10. They both have their problems, fair enough, fairly noticeable their problems, but I guess it's still good, all good fun. Even though the fun seems big misguided and not make a whole lot of sense a lot of times. And moves at a snail's pace at times. Literally. In other words, I'm trying to say the first two X-Men films move really slow, but I'm not really sure if that's because it's a slow burn. I don't think that's because it's slow burn. I think that's just because they're very poorly edited and edit a lot of stuff out. Because I was told the Batman was a slow burn, and I really thought that went by fairly fast, and I really enjoyed it. Probably was better put together and better edited for the final cut of that released in theaters, and also Singles Joker and Endgame and Infinity War and Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and Blade, the first one, and yeah, I gotta be honest with you, I don't think this is really much of a slow burn as much as it's poorly edited. And it kind of feels a little slower than it could have gone if you didn't edit out the necessary stuff that you edit out of the final product. Well, that's what I think. So yeah. All around, I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10. They're very fun. It's still... It was pretty cool seeing the X-Men work with the Brotherhood, even though, again, they don't call themselves the Brotherhood. Stupid. No, stupid. They made a mistake the second time. Yeah. So these X-Men movies get a 10 out of 10. Bye, subscribe, like this video, and yeah. X-Men.